Have you ever thought of the true value of gold? I mean, really, the value of something isn't its price, it's what you can buy with it. That is the true value. And I've got Ronni Stoeferle from the In Gold We Trust report of Incrementum AG with me on the phone. And he's got this fantastic chart here that shows how gold maintains its purchasing power throughout the decades. And this chart shows you how many liters of beer 1 ounce of gold buys. Ronni, how are you doing?
Very well, Mike. How are you?
Good. So this chart is the final chart in your chart book from the In Gold We Trust report. And I found it both entertaining and, this is close to my heart. I think it was back in the early 80s. It was like 81 or 82 that I attended Oktoberfest, and I drank quite a few of those liters of beer. So that's when an ounce of gold would buy more than a couple hundred. I didn't drink a couple hundred liters of beer, but so tell us a little bit about this chart, how you compile the data, and what it means to you.
Well, actually, it's one of our most famous charts, and people love it because it shows you how gold over the very long term really protects you against paper money's ongoing loss of purchasing power. So actually, the average inflation at the Munich Oktoberfest is roughly 4% every year. So this Oktoberfest mass, which is a 1 liter mug, gets more expensive by 4% every year. Now, measured in gold terms, it tells you that your purchasing power is actually, it's not 100% stable, but it is much more stable than compared to fiat money. And at the moment, with 1 ounce of gold, you can buy 150 liters of beer at the Oktoberfest, which is slightly above average. So it's not extremely expensive, but it seems to be a good deal. And I think that the power of this ratio, of this chart, is just to show you gold protects against paper money's ongoing loss of purchasing power. That's really the important message of this chart.
There's something else that I just noticed in this chart is you can see gold's previous bull market in here very, very clearly. It starts, after 1970. There's a trough, a bottom in this chart in 1970, and then it starts to rise. And by 73, 74, it peaks. And then there's a mid-cycle correction. And gold peaked on the last day of 74, and then it became legal for Americans to own it again, the first day of 1975. And coincidentally, gold started falling. So it went from where this chart has its little minimum, and you could only buy 48 liters of beer with 1 ounce in 1971. This chart goes up, and gold was $35 an ounce back then. And it rose to just a breath away from 200 an ounce at the end of 74. And then it did a mid-cycle correction, and gold fell almost 50%. It fell from just a breath away from $200 all the way down to 103 by, I believe it was September of 1976. It was 20 months that it took to hit bottom. And then it started rising again. And you can see that in its value against beer, which is amazing. You can see the price of gold measured in, it's priced in beer here. And it went up to 227 beers from probably around 80 beers around 1976. It exploded up to 227 beers. And this is annual data that you've got here. So I think the average annual gold price in 1980 was somewhere between $400 and $600. I can't remember, but the peak in January of 1980 was $850.
Yes.
So it was probably buying you 500 liters of beer if you measured it at that peak. But then you can see the long bear market in gold and bottoming into the year 2000. And then the bull market again starts, and it starts purchasing more and more beer. And it peaks in 2012 here at 137 liters of beer. And then again, just like the bull market in the 70s. We have a mid-cycle correction, and it's now coming off of the bottom of that mid-cycle correction, but it has yet to exceed its previous high. It has yet to make the explosion. So this again shows the echo of the bull market of the 70s. You can see that this bull market is stretched out longer in time, but it's much greater in magnitude. If you look at the first wave, it looks like gold purchased about 120 liters of beer in 1974 or 73. That was the first time it broke through, the first wave up in the bull market. And this bull market, the peak was in 2000, the peak of the first wave was in 2012 at 137 liters of beer. So this is a much more powerful bull market, and gold bought a lot more beer at the end of its first wave up. And now we've been through the mid-cycle correction. It didn't go quite as low as it did in 1976. We haven't even surpassed the 1974 peak of that first wave up in the first bull market. So when it surpasses that, this is going to explode. I think you're going to see a day come where an ounce of gold buys 500 liters of beer or more. What do you think, Ronnie?
And then we should meet up in Munich, Mike.
You're on. And with that, I think we should wrap up this very, very special section of your In Gold We Trust report on the value of gold measured in beer. So thank you very much. Please take a look at the links in the video description below and follow those links to any special reports that we've got. Visit Ronnie's website. Please give our videos a thumbs up, share them, and subscribe to our channel. Click that notification bell. It really helps our YouTube search results and our rankings. And so it helps this channel. So if you're getting anything from all of this stuff, please help us spread the word. Thanks again for listening. Thank you, Ronnie, for being here.
Thank you very much, Mike. I really, really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Okay. We'll see you all next time. Thanks a lot.
goldsilver.com. Price match guarantee. Free shipping. Global storage options. Phenomenal customer service. Get the best-selling book, Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver, for free at goldsilver.com.